Hello, YouTube. This is Alex Buy Stuff, and this is my 2024 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 3LZ. And I've had it for almost a year now. The reason why I know it's almost a year is because I got that letter in the mail from the California DMV that says, hey, we want $1,138. And that was kind of my reminder. Oh yeah, that's right. You want to sell this car. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because a lot of the car videos I make these days are a video that's almost like a saying goodbye, but I feel like it's also hopefully helping people that are thinking about buying that particular car in the future. You might be watching this video 10 years from now, and the things I say might be really helpful for you. You might be thinking about buying the car tomorrow. Like literally tomorrow. Today's what, May 15th, I think? Shoot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's May 15th. But we're going to start off this video by popping the trunk and getting a chair out of here, because I'm going to sit in it while I talk to you guys. If I could, just get it out. I'm trying to be careful with one hand so I can hold the phone. All right. This is my, you're going to the sporting event chair that I bring around in my Z06. So it's usually back here, which can be kind of annoying because sometimes I might want to take the top off. And there's no space, if that's the case. That was not a rhyme on purpose. I've got a little list of things to talk about. Let's start with the pros. This is one of the best sounding cars ever made. I've heard some people say it is the best sounding car ever made, and I don't necessarily agree, but I could 100% understand why someone would say that. I personally think that I don't know. It might be tied with like a GT3 RS, which is, a pretty big compliment to Porsche that they were able to get that good of a sound out of a 6-cylinder, flat 6. But yeah, if you haven't heard one, they're that good. But this is that good too. This car is extremely fast in every shape of that word. It's quick, it accelerates quickly, and it's also top speed fast, and it just pulls hard. Let's go back to the sound too. It sounds really good. It's naturally aspirated. And, as I've gotten older, I'm almost 40 now. Sound has been extremely important to me. That's been a big factor in the cars I've bought over, even more recently, in the past like 5 years probably. But when I was younger, I was all about turbo sounds and blow off valves and intakes and exhausts. And I think I've narrowed down the sounds I like as I've gotten older. And sometimes the right car for that time in your life is not the best sound that you want. I just realized I have some loud water pipe things out here, water heater stuff. Sorry if it's loud. So this sounds really good, and I do like naturally aspirated now as I've gotten older. I do really like that, which is kind of sad because as I've finally clicked with that as probably my favorite, everything's going electric, so that might be going the wayside or whatever as time goes by. So yeah. The sound is amazing from the factory. There's a Z button on the steering wheel that is a configurable option, similar to like say BMW M, and some other brands have their similar stuff. Like my Ford Raptor has an R mode. My GTR I had before, Nissan GTR has like GTR mode or something like that. A lot of cars have that, but this will make your Z06 sound like it has a full-blown aftermarket exhaust system. It is the loudest car I think I've ever heard. I'm pretty sure, from the factory, I think it's louder than, I had a Mustang GT 500, which I made a video about as well. I think it's louder than that even. And it sounds really freaking good when you open it up. In fact, it is so loud that you will set off car alarms in parking lots when you turn the car on. And there are ways to, if you're like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to quiet it down so I don't piss off my neighbors or whatever, I think you put in touring mode before you turn the car off, and it wakes up in touring mode and it won't do that. But anyway, love the sound. I'm gonna miss that. That's the thing I will miss the most about this car by far, is just the sound. Being able to take the top off, I think that was an awesome feature that Chevy did. I've never had a car. I've never had a convertible. I guess I have a Porsche 911 Targa 4S that you may have seen that on the channel. It's a project car. I haven't touched that car in like 2 years. So that's the closest thing I've ever had. I've only driven that car like twice or something. That doesn't really count for me. I guess, I've had a Jeep Wrangler. I've had some Jeep Wranglers that had tops that come down, but being able to pop the top off is actually pretty sick. Although I haven't done it that many times since I've owned it. I should probably mention I have about 2,700 miles on the car, so it's not a lot. But I did, daily drive it pretty much here and there between this and my truck. And I have not taken it to the track because I'm a poser. I'm like the guy that wears skate shoes but doesn't skate. Let's say that. I'm very upfront about that. I had like other cars I had that were very much track oriented. I've never tracked a car I've never been to the track other than drag strips. This car did not go to a drag strip, but I've never been to a track that's not a drag strip track in my whole life. And I know I should. It's just, time, kids, all that stuff, right? One of the other things I like a lot about this car is the GPS lift, training the lift to lift up, as you approach a driveway and stuff. It's really awesome. Every car that has a lift, every sports car that has a lift should have that GPS feature. It's really, really smart. Hats off to Chevy for that one. Okay, let's talk about like kind of the middle of the range stuff, middle of the road. The looks, right? So I'm gonna stop being lazy and sitting down and obviously show the car a little bit because that's what we're talking about is the looks. And I am running into a wall here with the garage door, but this is a fantastic looking car. I've had I think actually more attention on this car than any other car I've owned. I had an M5 CS recently. I had that Mustang GT500 I mentioned. I had a Porsche GT3 RS. I've had a Nissan GTR. I feel like there's a bunch of cars I'm not thinking of off the top of my head right now, but this is definitely the car that's got the most attention. And people thumbs up while you're driving around, and you're at the gas station and people are trying to talk to you about it, and what's the fastest you've taken that thing up to, and you get the old guy like that, and you get some once in a while you get more of Karen ladies that giving you a frown, and there's a big bird poop on the windshield. That's not my fault, by the way. I guess you could say it is because I own the car, but someone gave it back to me like that. But yeah, it looks really good. It looks very Lamborghini Ferrari-ish, which is what they were going for. And I've had little kids say, wow, is that a Lamborghini? Or I think I had one kid just say straight up cool Lamborghini. And I think my son, who's 8 years old, has had his friends at school ask if your dad has a Lamborghini. So I think that's a compliment to Corvette that people get that, little kids and some people get that confused. But I'd say it's in the middle because, a bright color with a cool look also brings a lot of attention, and not everyone wants all that attention. I mean, I personally don't always want all that attention. Sometimes I just want to drive a sports car and not want everyone staring at me. And I do kind of feel like this more than any other car I've ever owned, that everyone is looking at me all the time. And it's not just me being paranoid or anything. Like literally people are, people are looking at me all the time. They just are. They're not looking at me necessarily me, but the car, So I have not been pulled over though. So that's a good thing. It's an American sports car. And I think that's proved to be a real thing, that cops pull over American sports cars less than foreign sports cars. That has been my experience personally. But it's also, could be where I live and stuff like that in San Diego area. All right, let's get into the cons, guys, because there's quite a few. And I think this is the first car I've sold this fast in a long time. I've had a lot of cars, I think 30-something cars in my lifetime. And I don't know if I've sold a car that, I guess the Audi RS6 Avant was a lot worse than this. And I sold that almost instantly. I made some videos about that as well. But let's start with the seat. And this is probably the one that really pisses me. That's the first thing. It really pisses me off, guys. I'm sorry, but such a huge, brutally huge mistake by Chevrolet with this car is the seat and the seating position. Oh my God, I don't know if you guys can all. I'm actually getting a little bit mad just thinking about it. It is extremely frustrating. I'm 6 foot, and that's not that tall. It's a little bit tall. But it's not that tall. And I know you'll see a lot of things on the internet, people saying like, yeah, I'm 6'5" and I fit in there, so you should fit in there too. And so I'm not complaining about fitting, and I am a bigger guy, so I fit in here fine. My M5 CS was definitely a tight fit for my chubby butt. But I could fit in that, and my GT3RS, same thing, and carbon buckets on both of those. I was probably at the edge of what you should be weight-wise to fit in those seats, but this seat is not like that. These seats are fine. These seats are comfortable. It is the height of the seat that is such a problem. So I'm going to put the camera exactly at my eye level. Okay, guys, like perfectly at my eye level. I just checked it. So this is my eye level right here. And this is the seat all the way at the bottom. I can go higher. I'll go if it'll let me. Yeah. So look, I can go higher. Cool. That's definitely where I want to be, right? Is that where you want to be when you're driving a car? Up here? I don't know who designed this seat and the roof at the same time, the whole package, but it's idiotic. It is completely idiotic. I've seen people on the forum saying, "Oh yeah, if you just jiggle the thing a little bit there and a little bit there, you're gonna get a little bit down more." No, I did that too, and it's not enough. If you're at a stoplight, the stoplight is up here. You cannot, if you're at the front line, you cannot see a stoplight. So you know what you have to do? You have to bend over like this with your head, like over by the passenger seat to look at the stoplight to see when it turns green. I feel like that's just stupid. And there's just so much stuff that I just can't see. I just literally can't see, and it's just frustrating. But it's not only that, it's just the feeling of a sports car. Once you've been in enough sports cars, you know how it's supposed to feel, and this does not feel like that. You are sitting like on top of the car. You feel like you're sitting in a truck, like high up in the air. So the problem why this problem is happening is because all of the electronics for all of the crazy stuff they put in the seat are underneath the seat. What they really should have done is put all of the wires, all of that technology crap that they wanted to put in the seat on the back of the seat, behind it, and then let the seat go down to the floor. You can feel how high up in the air you are off the floor. You're high up. It's just, yeah, it pisses me off. There's people on the forums that have talked about doing certain modifications, but it's just that, yeah, and I know I'm ranting like crazy about this, but it is really seriously the biggest reason why I'm selling the car is the seat. And that probably sounds pretty crazy, but it's just not a good experience because of how high you are. Other thing I'll just say is the vent cooler thing on the seats, like the cooled seats feature is pretty stupid. It's like literally just a fan. Someone took it apart, and it's seriously, it's just a fan. It's like not like the air conditioning is ducting to the perforated leather. I mean, maybe it's better than nothing. You can't really feel it though. Okay, let's move on so you guys can stop getting mad at me ranting about the seat. Except where did I put the piece of paper with all the cons? Here it is. All right. The head unit, and I really don't want to talk about the head unit for a long time, and there might be people like that are pissed off that I'm not going to talk about it, but it sucks. The technology, the screens, the way that all the GUI, I think is what you say, graphical user interface on the screen, like the main head unit here, not like the speedometer screen thing, but like this screen, it's terrible. It's garbage. Whoever designed it, I just don't understand why there weren't people in the room that are like, okay, well, how come when I open Amazon Music on my cell phone with Bluetooth, how come it minimizes the audio thing every single time? And when I open the audio area of the head unit, why is it minimized? Why do I have to like click again to open it back up? It's just like everything is stupid. Seriously, everything on it just feels stupid, and it constantly, there's so many days where it doesn't connect to my phone, or I get a phone call and then I can hear the car rings and knows I'm getting a phone call, but then the head unit won't do the Bluetooth phone call. I have to answer it on my phone. Like I have to turn the Bluetooth off. It's just really weird problems I haven't had with other cars. All right, so that's it for that part. I don't want to keep talking about that one too much. The seat was it's honestly the big one, by the way. Okay, side mirrors. Side mirrors are super, super, super stupid. Whoever designed the side mirrors should get a new job. So let's see if I don't even know if I can show you guys this properly, but yeah, I can. Okay, so here is me pretty much in a straight line with the back of the car, right? And my car I have it parked at an angle right now because my wife is out of town, so her parking spot's open. So this is pretty straight right here. Can you guys see that the actual car is wider here than the mirror is? that means that when you back up and you're using your side mirror to see where you're going, you can't actually see correctly, like the road, because it's blocked. Your car is blocking the mirror. It's like idiotic. And I guess what the thought was is, you know, like, well, if we extended the mirror out, maybe it would look stupid. You know, like if this part was longer and then the mirror was like more out here, would it look stupid or would it get knocked off all the time? I don't really know, but I can just tell you that the mirrors thing is really frustrating when you're backing into, like when I'm backing into my garage, there are people that have huge garages, lots of space. I don't. I have a bunch of stuff on the side of my garage here, stacked up, and I have to be careful to not hit anything along the wall, right? And I know you could be like, oh, you should just clean up your garage or whatever. I don't want to clean up my garage. I like how it is. And I haven't had these problems with any other car I've ever owned. Every car has been extremely easy to fit in this parking spot. And this car is just, I'm always a little bit nervous because of the way the mirrors work when I'm backing up. Anyway, so I'll move on, but I just, you know, I know that you go, oh, well, it's a wide body, it's a sports car, but like, I feel like there was just something maybe they could have done better with the mirror situation. All right, a lot of the stuff inside the car, it just feels cheap. Like, I don't think that the leather necessarily feels cheap, but like just a lot of the plastic stuff and the buttons, I don't know. I don't get a good vibe from it. And like the start button right here, it's finicky. There's a lot of times where I press it and the car just doesn't start, or when it's on, when the vehicle is on and I want to turn it off, it just doesn't turn off. And I press the button, and sometimes I press it 3 times and nothing happens. And I'm like, okay, I got to really make sure I press this button like super in the middle perfectly with enough pressure. And I know that sounds really goofy and it's not a big deal. I don't think it's a huge deal, but the button not only feels cheap, it doesn't work that great. And you know, it's not like I haven't had other cars with push button start. I've had like 20 of them or something like that. I've never had one where I press the button and it doesn't work all the time. And I don't think that's like my car. I think that's just the way, it's just a flimsy, cheap button. So anyway, I feel like this whole thing, whatever you call that, I forgot there's a name that people call the center console buttons. They feel super, super, super cheap, probably the cheapest part. I think it was a cool idea and kind of futuristic and fun that they tried it, but it wasn't a huge hit for me personally. And I think they already got rid of it for the 2026 or something. I think I saw a rumor about that. All right. This next part is not a complaint for me. It is a complaint for other people. I'm just trying to be clear. This one is not about me. It's just a thing that if I had to guess for other people, it might be their complaint. So I've only taken this car in for service once because I've only had the car for 1 year, and the service at the Chevrolet dealership is just not really what a lot of people would expect that have been to other dealerships that buy expensive cars. So the whole thing, I would say, you know, so someone that buys, this is, you know, $120,000 car minimum basically for a Z06. Maybe you could get a lower option one from closer to 100. Either it's $100,000 plus car. They can go up to like 200 if you get every single option. You know, the people that are spending that much money, sometimes it's the first time they've ever bought a car that expensive and they have no expectations. And sometimes they've had, you know, a Mercedes and a BMW and this and that and some other expensive cars, and they're kind of used to an experience at the dealership, at the service, and, you know, getting a rental car maybe and like all these other things. And that is not really what you're going to get at a Chevrolet dealership, which is fine. I personally wasn't expecting that. My expectation was this is a Chevrolet dealership, and I would assume it's nothing fancy because it's Chevrolet. But other people are going to say, I spent $120,000. I want you to, you know, clean my shoes while I'm here, right? So I'm not that guy. I've had, you know, a bunch of Ford cars as well. Like I said, I had a Mustang. I've had multiple Raptors. I had a Bronco. And I think it's probably similar to, you'd expect a similar experience to Ford. And it probably is. I would say Ford was better experience, though, than Chevrolet. This car had a cracked transmission case from the factory was what the dealership assumed. And that's not a big deal. They fixed it for free under warranty. So that was fine, but I just want to mention it. Service related, you know, this huge bird turd is actually from the car being parked at service. And I think that was, that is something where if you have a kind of an expensive car and it comes back, it's been gone for a week because they had to replace the transmission housing in your car. You paid over $100,000 for it, and it has a huge bird turd on it, and the whole car is just filthy from sitting in their parking lot. That's probably not the best vibe. I know a lot of dealerships have a car wash and they wash your car, and some don't though. I'm not particularly mad about that personally, but I do think some people would be. The next thing probably is a little bit more upsetting though. The dealership told me I had a nail in my tire, and they really wanted me to pay them to replace it. And I like going to my own tire place. So I said, no, thank you. And it wasn't a problem. Like, it still drives on with the nail. So I would just take it over there. And the tire pressure was down to 23 PSI, which is really low. 35-ish, 35 to 40 is like pretty normal. They did not air up any of the tires when I had it in for oil service. Like, not any tire. They didn't do that tire. They didn't do any tires. Very strange that they knew that one of the tires was down to 23 and they didn't even put air in it. I don't know. I thought that was strange. Just me personally. That was definitely the weirdest thing. Like the floor mat in here was flipped upside down. So I guess like they tell their technicians to like flip the floor mats upside down so they don't get them dirty. But like, you're still getting the floor mat dirty just on the other side. And when I go to flip it, if it got really dirty, all the dirt's going to go. It's just, I don't know. That seemed really stupid. But yeah. Okay, let's move on. So the service is, by the way, like I said, service, I'm not personally offended by that by any means. The next thing is, I do think that this car feels overpriced. So I hate to say it. And that was the same reason that I did not like my Audi RS6 Avant, and I wanted to get rid of it, because the Audi RS6 Avant felt like a $80,000 car that was selling for a 120. And honestly, that's what this car feels like to me too. Now, I know this is a box checker. This is, you got the motor in the back, it's flat plane crank, I'm trying to think of all the things to say about that. Like, it's just checking a bunch of boxes where like, hey, this is like a Ferrari. And yeah, I don't disagree with that. And I totally understand the prices that they set it at. And I don't think if I owned the brand that I would think it's the wrong price either. And the cars are selling, so that tells you other people agree. But I personally, after owning it for a year, don't feel like it felt like a $120,000 car, if that makes sense. So that is another reason why I'm getting rid of it. No manual transmission. I think that's probably going to be the biggest complaint a lot of people would have. And there's probably a ton of people, especially older generation, that was like, if you would have put a manual transmission in this car, I would have bought it, and you lost me. In fact, Toyota ended up caving and putting a manual transmission in the new Supra. I really think Chevrolet should have considered putting a manual transmission in this car, and maybe they will, but I would actually consider getting another one if they did that. And I would probably consider spending a lot of money to make the seat thing better, to deal with this car with a manual transmission. Yeah, I would actually do that. I would spend money to fix the seat. All right, last con, and I know this list has been long, and I know this video is getting close to 30 minutes. This car there's something about it that is just, I don't know if boring is the right word, because I mean, I know that's going to sound crazy. Like, this bright blue car that's so loud, that's so fast is boring. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's so computerized, and predictable, and it doesn't really feel like it has like a spirit or something. I don't know I really wish I could put better words into what I'm trying to explain, but it doesn't have like a vibe or an emotional connection, like a lot of the other awesome sports cars that I've owned in the past. The formula is the same formula as a lot of other cars. It has a big motor, it goes fast, and it's a sports car that looks cool. Like a Nissan GTR is like the epitome of what people were like, that you're not driving a sports car, you're driving a computer. The car's driving itself. A lot of people say that about the GTR when it came out in 2007. It was kind of like a way to hate on the GTR. I would personally say, after owning a GTR I think I owned mine for 3 years. It's been a while since I've driven one, but I would say that car has more spirit, if that's the right word to say it, the emotional connection, than this car does. this car just doesn't have any like flavor or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I guess the spirit or the emotional connection. It's very. Sometimes it just feels like Toyota Camry-ish or something. I don't know. So it's not special. It doesn't feel special, and it doesn't have to feel special. But yeah, I guess I think that if the combination of pros would still be worth keeping it if some of the cons weren't all there. Like there's a lot of things like the head unit thing. No problem. The service thing, no problem. I can deal with a lot of things. The seat is really the thing that irks me the most, guys. I know that's gonna say that a lot of people are gonna think I'm crazy for saying that, but it's my money. So it's my car, my money, my choice, and it's going. Now I do want to mention that I think the MSRP on the car was like 120 to 125, somewhere in there, with the options that I have on this. And I put it up for sale on Craigslist at 118 because I thought I'd seen so many stories about people paying under MSRP all over the internet lately, and people paying like 12K under MSRP on Z06s, and the dealerships are trying to get rid of them. And I figured at 118 I'd be, coming out pretty good, only having it for, not losing too much money, owning it for about a year. And my phone instantly blew up, like nonstop text message, phone calls, emails, just from Craigslist, not AutoTrader, nothing special, just Craigslist. And one of those people, I changed the price to 124 because I figured I must have mispriced it too low. And one of the dealers that called me, which I said, don't contact me if you're a dealer, ended up telling me they're going to give me 122. So, 122 is like pretty much what I paid for it. And I feel like I got to take it. So, we'll see. I took it in for an inspection today, and then there was typical dealer BS where they're like, oh, we had told you 122. That was wrong. It was 100. And then another broker person got back to me like, no, the GM was involved in this, and the sales rep you talked to didn't know the GM had approved the 122. And then they called me back and like, oh, we were right. Sorry, it was 122, but we need to do a second inspection now. So I have to take it in again tomorrow if I want to sell it to them. And so we'll see how it goes, but I'm just kind of assuming it will be gone, whether it's to them or to somebody else. I think in the next week, this spot in this garage will be wide open. My truck doesn't really fit in here. So I did buy another car, which I guess I'll be parking in here for the time being, but it's a type of car I could park outside. And I bought it from a famous YouTuber called Legit Street Cars. Alex from Legit Street Cars. Nice dude, cool dude. And it was a sick car that I saw. He said he'd sell it. And I was like, instantly emailed them saying, oh, well, wire you money tomorrow. And he said, let's do it. And I wired him the money like a week ago. And I'm probably going to pick it up in a week or something. So yeah, I know I'm really rambling and fizzling out here. I apologize, but it's late and I just don't have a lot of time to make videos. So this is the only time I'm really going to have to do this. So I did just want to tell you a couple other topics that I want to talk about for future videos. So I will go to my desk and meet you guys at my computer. All right, so I have a little list of videos that I want to make that I haven't gotten around to yet, and I just wanted to mention them to whoever's watching this, and feel free to comment, please make such and such video if it sounds like something you want to see, in no particular order either. So my wife has had her Rivian SUV with R1S now for 2 years. If anyone's interested in hearing my opinions about that SUV, the opinions are not positive. There's that. There's the Raptor R. I've had 2 different Raptor Rs in the past 2 years. There's a story behind that. There's a reason why it's that way, but awesome truck. Spoiler alert. I do want to make a video about the Raptor R at some point, but maybe I'll make it sooner. M5CS. Oh, I already made a video about my M5CS. I can take that off my list. I made that, I think, right when I sold it. Okay. I wanted to make I think one that would be fun to make. EV and car guys, like just like that there's like a divide kind of thing going on now. There's like guys that are car guys but they have like a Tesla Model 3, and there's like car guys that are like, you're not a car guy, that's just a Tesla. And they're like, oh, my Tesla Model 3 is faster than your 1995 BMW M3 or whatever. That's like a car guy's car. I don't know. So there's that idea of like the difference and like the way everything has changed with cars and car guys and what's fast. And then another video is like very similar topic but different, and it's how cheap fast is now, because that's all changed because of electric cars. It sounds like I'm infatuated by electric cars, by the way I'm talking about this, but I've literally never owned one personally. My family, my wife has had a couple, so I've driven them quite a bit. Cars being unique and different, and that's kind of related to where, you know, like, is a car exciting if everyone has it, kind of, even though like that it's kind of still related to the whole thing of the cheap fast and car guys and EVs, and they're kind of all this thing that you could talk about, a lot of topics related to all that kind of thing. I have a couple watches that I've purchased over the past, I don't know, 5 years that I haven't done a review on. I definitely should make a review or talk about them a little bit. I just picked up this recently. It's the IWC Big Pilot Mojave Perpetual Calendar. If I can even get that on the webcam, this watch is like the watch I've wanted the most forever, and it was so expensive when it came out, and I was able to score a used one for a really good deal. Not that I don't think anyone will ever be able to tell it was used. It looked like it was brand new, but awesome. This is a watch I will probably never sell. And there's another IWC watch I bought probably 5 years ago. It's like digital date or something. So I will probably make those videos no matter what, because I've noticed that when I make watch videos, they actually seem to do pretty well. So I coach baseball for my kid, and the whole gear, if you're the coach, if you're the head coach, you have all this gear you have to transport around. And I have a Raptor R, as I mentioned, and I do want to make like a cool system of like, you gotta have to have like your wagon with like your catcher's gear for your team, and like your baseballs and your wiffle balls, and like there's all this stuff. There's nets and bats and like all this stuff, right? And it's a lot of work to keep it all organized and lug it out of the truck bed, especially on a Raptor R. It's way up in the air, and it's a lot of physical, like bending over where you can hurt yourself type of stuff. And anyway, I've been trying to develop a pretty good system for that, and I feel like it might be interesting to some people whether they want that system for baseball gear or maybe for something else, actually. Maybe it's for gardening supplies or something for their job. I don't know. And then a similar thing is, I'm not like a big like prepper end of the world guy, but like, I have like a little bit of that, just to be prepared, especially with all the crazy conflicts going on in the world over the past few years. It's like constantly there's a new outbreak between major world powers, and so I do have like a little bit of like just in case type of plan that probably if I show it on camera, people will think I'm way crazier than I think I am. Anyway, I do want to make a video about that. I think it's a pretty cool system. It was in my garage. It's probably on the Corvette video just now. Anyway, and then something, so like truck cap. I bought a truck cap, like they call it a cap, but it's like the camper shell thing. But like some of the caps are a lot different than others, and but none of them really, a lot of them don't have like locks, and the ones that do have are locks from the inside, where you can like, if you want to go camping and sleep in the truck bed, you can't like lock it on the inside and unlock it on the inside of the truck cap. It's really weird. I don't know why they wouldn't do that, but and also like, wouldn't you just want to have like a key fob with like another fob on it, and you press a button and like open all the locks and stuff? Do you want to actually, like my truck cap I just bought has 6 different points of locking. So if you want to open all 3 flaps, it's 2 points per flap. You'd have to go around physically to each one and open each one. And I know maybe that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's super annoying for me, like going to baseball, and then it's like I'm juggling. I got little kids and all these things going on. It's like I gotta get the keys out and open all these flaps, and it's just whatever. Maybe I have first world problems, but I was gonna try to develop something that's like electronic to do that, and maybe other people will want to know about that. Okay, my ramble is over. I hope that anyone that stayed this long enjoyed the content, or the information at least, and I'll see you in the next one.